willing to do this, you can forget about recording. It's wasting time. Everybody's been waiting a half hour. Let's just go, and you just tell us what you want to talk about, and we'll send you a copy. We're recording it here.
All right.
All right. Nolan?
Here we go. Like, when you talk, it wasn't as loud as, I think it was Steve. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, now I got the phone closer now. Is that better?
Yes, that is
All
better.
right. All right, I'm Kent Hovind. This is June the 15th, 2017. And Nolan Fields, where are you located? What state or country?
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, okay. And you wanted to go first and defend the position of evolution. Is that correct?
Well, I will defend it as long as you will defend your creation alternative.
I certainly will.
And I'll give, like, and we can go in discussion and stuff back and forth. And then I'd like us to both give each other some questions, if you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Sounds great.
Once in a while.
Okay.
Sounds great.
So, Nolan, you are...
1 second. I can't hear you. I get my headphones out. All right, go ahead.
All right. You want to give a little background to who you are? And you said you wanted to go first and intro on the topic.
Yeah.
And give your position, and then I'll give my position, and we'll go back and forth. All the questions you want.
Well, my first opening is going to be like 10 minutes.
Go for it. You're on.
Okay. Well, before I get into this, I'm going to tell you who I am. My name is Nolan Fields. I actually like science. I don't just pay lip service to it like I believe Kent does. He'll tell you he likes science, and then he'll turn around and tell you that all the science that disagrees with his literal interpretation of the Bible isn't science, which includes major parts of biology, taxonomy, geology, paleontology, archaeology, or any science that involves dating specimens ranging from extinct organisms to rock strata. I'm half Kent's age, but even since I was in high school, I've known that you come across some evidence. If you come across some evidence, especially evidence that conflicts with an entire model that has been put forth by science, which has been studied and peer-reviewed constantly, then the evidence should be fact-checked and scrutinized very carefully, very thoroughly. Because if this evidence was so great, why hasn't any of the millions of scientists who come from all walks of life, who are Christian, who are Jewish, who are agnostic, atheists, and come from all different races and ethnicities and different countries and more, and what have you. So why haven't these scientists published a paper in a peer-reviewed journal contesting the age of the universe at 13.8 billion years, or the age of the Earth at 4.5 to 4.6 billion years? It seems like something any up-and-coming scientist would love to do, to make a name for himself by challenging the current model, and if his evidence can stand up to the scrutiny, then perhaps gaining fame and fortune along the way. A Nobel Prize would be a guarantee. Many of them, probably a shelf. Are these scientists being silenced? Of course not. It's an easy thing to claim, but show your evidence and why you should be listened to. Alfred Wegener died before plate tectonics was accepted, but he never stopped trying, and others followed his work and refined it. And finally, Dr. Jack Oliver made plate tectonics one of the best scientific theories and finds in the 20th century, an honor bestowed upon only the best explanations for natural phenomena. I repeat, natural phenomena. But in reality, all of Kent's young Earth claims have already been soundly refuted because they are based on bad science, bad math, a misunderstanding of certain phenomena, a misunderstanding of how those phenomena interact with the Earth, and many other problems. And believe you me, if he brings any of them up today, I will be sure to refute them to the best of my ability. And even if one or two of them aren't answered, to this very day, even by scientists, that doesn't make the world, that isn't just like, 6,000 years old. What would make more sense? The Earth was created 6,000 years ago by a Jewish God, while humanity learned about good and evil by eating a piece of fruit they heard about from a talking snake in a tree, or that scientists haven't figured everything out yet and they might one day. Like evidence that, evidence that may appear to be for a young Earth. This is a God that gaps logic anyway. People back in the day said earthquakes were from God. Or they would say the thunders and rain were from God. Anything they didn't understand, floods, hurricanes, you name it, they would blame it or they would attribute it to the gods. That's why there were gods of thunder, gods of fire, gods of death, gods of stuff they couldn't understand, God. And now we've knocked all those dominoes over. And then when evolution came, after 150 years of refining it, we've knocked over the domino of special creation in their current forms 6,000 to 10,000 years ago, which, by the way, is even losing track in the United States. I watched a Ken Am thing the other day, and he said this. See, now we know better, okay? Whatever science can't answer, people say God did it. I hope they live long enough to see science answer those questions, just so I can see the look on their face. Back to you, Kent, and on to evolution. Kent's understanding of evolution is either one of willful ignorance or one of misunderstanding. He says that macroevolution is change in organisms from one kind to another. This is not the definition of macroevolution. Macroevolution is evolution on a scale at or above the level of species, in contrast with microevolution, which refers to smaller evolutionary changes of allele frequencies within the species of a population over time. Macro and microevolution describe fundamentally identical processes on different time scales. It would be like believing in inches, but not believing in miles. Speciation, the changing of one species into another, actually falls under macro and microevolution. And Dr. Hovind has admitted he believes in speciation. So to some extent, he believes in macroevolution. Which, I mean, but it's just, his version of microevolution is change in the kinds. That's not what it is. Because until you get a definition of the word, quit using it. And besides, his definition of macroevolution, which is change outside of the kind, like a chain from one kind to another, would actually falsify the theory of evolution. If a hippo gave birth to an alligator, or to a whale, or to a manatee, or to any other distinct animal that was not their species, that would falsify evolution. So what you're asking for on number 5, macroevolution, what you're asking for them to give you is something they don't say can happen and can't happen. That is part of the thing. That's part of their theory. Anyway, his definition of kind is ambiguous, but it is obvious that it's above the species level because he believes horses and zebras are the same kind when they are different species with different numbers of chromosomes. And Asiatic elephants and African elephants are the same kind when they are not even in the same genus. They are in the same family. They can't bring forth, so I guess they're different kinds. Oddly enough, chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, and humans are all in the same family as well. But I bet you won't say that humans belong in the same kind as them. But he will say apes are the same kind, ignoring that humans are apes. But if any of these animals were to have offspring of a different kind, then it would falsify the theory of evolution. No scientific theory would be so dumb to claim offspring of an organism could be of a different species, much less different kind. All organisms of the same species have offspring that are the same species. Again, all organisms of the same species have offspring of the same species. And let's see, to believe in huge jumps, even to a different species in one generation, is patently absurd. The reason we see so many different species of insects, over 1 million right now, and probably 10 million, including hookworms and stuff, and only one species of such animals like the elephants and the humans, is because their generations are much shorter than ours, so much more, and we have so much opportunity to undergo speciation, while we do not. Our generation time is 25 years. An elephant's is 25 years, plus 2 years gestation. I must stress that micro and macro evolution are the same things over different time scales. And I said, believing in one and not the other is believing in inches and not in miles. Or seeing part of the Transcontinental Railroad, not believing it stretches from one coast to the other, because you can't see it all at once. We can't play the tape back, but we can look at the parts that were saved. This is the fossil record. Another thing Kent horribly misunderstands. He'll say, there's not a fossil record, there's bones in the dirt. That's what the fossil record is. It's like saying that's not a car. That's just an internal combustion engine with 4 wheels that starts with a key and you press gas pedals and brakes. No, that's not a car. You just defined a car, sir. Nah, never mind. Anyway, whether on purpose or I cannot say if he misunderstands for that reason. But the fossil record and the record of the DNA of organisms, mainly amongst many other things, a big part of science is inference. You'll never hear Kent talk about inference because it makes his side look bad and it will make his assault on evolution weaker. For example, in the mid-19th century, as many as 60 elements and hundreds of isotopes have been found. And the periodic table as we know it, it wasn't even constructed until the 20th century. But people worked to construct it in the 19th century. But while constructed, people noticed there were gaps in the periodic table. It's like, gaps? I don't understand. How can there be gaps? And it's like, there were certain elements that were missing, they said. Of course, they needed time to find these elements, but they could predict and infer what properties the element would have, such as the melting point, density, atomic weight, color, whether it was a gas, solid, or liquid at room temperature. And later, when they found out about protons, neutrons, and electrons, they could predict the number of those as well. The predictions weren't always 100% correct, especially since atomic mass can differ slightly from the expected pattern. But they were always close if they weren't always right. There were gaps in the record of the elements, but with inference, scientists made some predictions and what would be expected. And these gaps were subsequently filled as chemists discovered additional naturally occurring elements. They eventually filled the table completely, and the puzzle was complete, at least for naturally occurring elements. It's the same with evolution today, except it's a much larger puzzle and many more predictions. Many parts of the puzzle are filled in, and a pattern is showing up. One that has allowed for scientists to use inference to figure out what they would expect to find, where they expect to find it, how long ago it would be expected the organism to exist. Of course, if Kent lived back in the 19th century and his interpretation of the Bible caused him not to accept the periodic table, then he would have argued, there's no evidence for some of these elements. They haven't observed them, they haven't experimented with them, they haven't tested them to find out their properties. That's a religion, that's not science. Yeah, it's make-believe. Until you show me 100% assailable proof, then I won't accept it. And I still might not. But no one would be so crazy as to not accept the periodic table now. It's there for anyone to see and fact check. Evolution is not at that point yet where it's 100% unassailable, but where there's no more new finds or more predictions to make or things to be falsified. One day, maybe. I mean, microevolution has already been accepted by the Christians, or most of the Christians that didn't believe in it, and because it was absurd and ought to argue against them. They can still fall back on their observing it to happen, so they'll never accept the theory of evolution. But they don't observe horses and zebras undergo speciation, but they accept it. Why accept that, but you don't accept the other? Because it's self-serving. They accept the speciation because they need a super hyperdrive version of evolution in order to have all the different species there are today, because they want to limit the amount of animals on the ark in order to make the fable almost plausible. Also, please everyone, fact check this debate. I implore everyone to check up on what I say and what he says about all these topics. I don't know everything, and nor does Kent, even though Kent claims to know more about what science is than scientists in most cases. One last thing before I close. Please fact check this debate, like I said. But if either of us is wrong on a point of fact, please point it out in the comments. We all make mistakes. Sometimes they come from laziness and willful ignorance. The internet and the libraries are at our fingertips. Another thing, Kent calls chapters on evolution lies. What I'm calling many of his claims then, lies. He is so blinded by his religious belief that he won't answer or will dodge the questions about his lies by changing the subject later on in this debate. Watch. I will only have time to go through a small amount of the lies he teaches, and yet he still sells those DVDs, lies included at no extra charge. On the website, just to let you know, I'm not selling anything. I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not making anything off this. I don't have a financial stake in keeping people donating to my 100+ acre work camp out in nowhere, Alabama. He counts on the very people watching this debate to feed his belly and to buy him four-wheelers and to donate land and palm trees and motorhomes because he's financially dependent upon the flock. He has no shame in finding new ways to fleece them, probably starting with this debate. Anyway, I have a lot more for everyone to hear, lies straight from Kent's mouth to point out, and a few branches of science to defend, since they don't agree with Kent's literal interpretation of Genesis. Sorry for the length. Brevity is the word from now on. I'm done.
Well, Nolan, thank you for doing this. There have been probably 6,000 or 8,000 people who have refused to debate the topic. We have tried. I'm willing to debate anytime. You seem well, yeah, you seem incredibly angry and bitter at something. I think maybe.
Oh no!
No, you're not angry. No,
I'm not angry, sir.
Not angry. Okay, that it just came across.
I promise you. If I seem angry, that's my problem. I apologize. I'm not angry at you at all. Actually, I watch all your videos, and I'm actually. You can ask my girlfriend; she'll tell you that I seem obsessed with this.
You do seem a little obsessed.
Thing, talking to you,
right.
But I'm not mad at you, like per se. Make money how you can. I just wish that you think maybe after I explain some of the lies later,
all right,
maybe you'll change them.
It's my turn to talk, by the way.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm trying. Okay. My name's Kent Hovind. I taught high school science and math 15 years. I happen to like science, and he said that I give lip service to it only. I have to disagree. We're building a science center where we have all kinds of activities that teach different science lessons about inertia, physical science, earth science, biology, and each one will also have a spiritual application. Now, quick intro, kind of did that earlier on our YouTube, but I'm going to skip right straight to answering some of the things that Nolan has said here. And then, Steve, there's no timer here. I don't know how long he went. I don't know.
18 minutes.
18 minutes, okay. So, it is now 12:13. Okay, I'll try to go same time or less. Okay. You've named a whole bunch of branches of science, you know, anthropology, biology, or science, as if that is somehow evidence. Just simply naming a branch of science does not mean it's evidence.
Right there on that box. Look, see it? 12:14 on that box.
Yeah, okay, I got one here. Okay, I'm gonna watch. Got it. All right. And you talk about mentioning publishing things in peer-reviewed journals. I think that idea has been bantered around and discussed for the last 100 years among creationists and evolutionists, both alike. So why do so many believe in evolution was a question you asked. That's a great one. I think you'll find I could ask the same thing. Why do so many believe in creation? There's thousands of scientists who believe in the young Earth creation, and 6,000 is not young. 6,000 is a long time. It's hard to remember 200 years ago, you know, and when they were just discovering the western part of the United States, okay? So 200 is a long time. 6,000 is a really, really long time. But as far as you said, I don't believe in plate tectonics and stuff like that. I certainly do. I think there's a different reason for it. Now, let me talk here. Okay, I produced a special slide just for you, Nolan. Now, Steve, to get back to, let's see, Alt Tab, my slides. No, that is not the one. That's my wife. Let's see, 6, 4. Okay. You mentioned evidence and inference, okay? This textbook says the whale's pelvis is evidence of its evolution from four-legged land-dwelling animals. Well, I have to respectfully disagree. This is my video number 4, is lie number 14 of the 50-some lies I cover. Here's the bone they're talking about right here. In what would we consider the abdomen area of the whale, they have these special bones. It's obviously a bone with blood supply and nerve supply. And it is the attachment for quite a few muscles that allows whales to reproduce. Whales have to mate underwater in the dark with no hands and a giant tail in the way. The male's penis will be 15 feet long in some species, and they have to be able to maneuver it without hands. So this is part of their reproductive system. Now, the evolutionists have interpreted that to be evidence that they used to have 4 legs and walk on land. A couple of things I'd like you to consider. Some large female whales have similar, though distinct, bones. Do I need to be on that one? Or no?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I just put so they can see you here.
Okay, good. To assist them in mating. Ambulocetus here is mostly imagination. The dark bones are the only ones they actually found. But they put this out as proof that we evolved from a rock 4.6 billion years ago. It's in all the textbooks. The red bones here on this bottom picture were actually found 5 meters, about 16 feet, above the other bones. This is what they actually found. By the time they put it together, it becomes a creature. No pelvic bones were found at all, it says right here, and little is known about the tail. This is from a published scientific journal, like you talked about, okay? Basilosaurus is not an intermediate. The serpentine form of the body and peculiar serrated cheek teeth make it plain that these could not possibly have been ancestral to any of the modern whales. Published journals are saying, look, there is no real technical scientific proof for whale evolution. But I want to get to a bit bigger picture here. They reconstruct things all the time. Here's from Berkeley University, article on evolution I took today, June 15, 2017. Hippos likely evolved from a group of these critters 15 million years ago. The evolution of whales. Here's a picture they show on their website. Look at all these pictures. Here's proof right here, boys and girls, how the whales evolved from this type of creature. Here's another picture right straight from the Berkeley website. This is said the bones in red were found 5 meters above the rest of the skeleton. Now, it is a fact. Bones were found in the dirt or rock, okay? That's a fact. The evolutionists have an interpretation or an inference they make from that, and so do the creationists. The evolutionist says they are evidence of one kind of animal changing into another. The creationist says it died. The fact is the bones were found in the dirt, and the proper interpretation of that is it died. End of story. Now, if you want to try to erase that line and make your interpretation part of the fact, I think you got a serious problem. Let me give you an analogy that'll help. There's a classic movie made years ago called The Green Mile by Tom Hanks, with Tom Hanks starring in it. In that movie, 2 girls were missing. They were kidnapped. A massive manhunt was organized. I know it's all Hollywood, but let's call that a fact as far as the movie goes. Okay. It's a fact. John Coffey was found holding the 2 dead girls. When the manhunt arrived, there he is holding the 2 dead girls. Okay. So here we have the facts. The girls were missing. The girls are now dead. They're found in the arms of John Coffey. Fact. He is arrested and executed for that crime based on a false inference. Here's what you need to look at, and I'm trying to help you, Nolan. I'm going to use small words so the other atheists who are watching can understand what I'm saying here. No fossils could possibly count as evidence for evolution. Number 2. Bones in the dirt indicate something died. Number 3, bones can't talk. Number 4, they don't have a date stamped on them or come with a plaque telling their story. Number 5, someone is putting their interpretation on these bones to tell what happened to them. No plant or animal today can produce anything other than its kind, as you mentioned in your speech. No animal has been observed producing anything other than its kind. And you can use the word species if you'd like. It's never been observed. Number 7, why should we think bones found in the dirt could do something that no animal today could possibly do? Why could it happen long ago and far away and can't happen today? Number 8, who would each of these millions of so-called transitional species marry? They have to have another one evolving similar and be able to pass on this new genetic structure. Number 9, if there was a new and improved animal, wouldn't all the rest of the old variety have to die to make this really work? Or else they get swamped back into the population. Number 10, there is no proof that any of the bones they found in the dirt had any offspring. That's why no fossil would count in a court of law as evidence for anything in an honest court of law, if they exist. All you know is it died. You couldn't prove it had any children. Number 12, the offspring of this new species would face the same, or you certainly couldn't prove, number 11, couldn't prove they had any kids that lived. Even if you could somehow prove they had kids at all, you couldn't prove those kids lived long enough to produce another generation. You couldn't prove such a thing. The offspring of this new species would face the same problems of finding a mate and wiping out the old population. So let me get back to where I was here, right there. Okay. I would point out, I do believe in scientific evidence. I love studying science. It's the inference that I'm confused, that why you would come to the inference that you do. The evidence points to the fact that animals and plants always produce the same kind of offspring, as you so eloquently said. I agree. That's all anybody has ever observed. And that's what real science is. Inference may or may not be correct, as we saw with John Coffey and the Green Mile movie, and 1,000 other things happen through history where someone makes the false inference from the facts. Okay, let me try to hit some of your thing. You said in the 1500s or 1700s something, people equated earthquakes, floods, thunder, etc. as coming from God. Okay, Nolan, I taught earth science for 15 years. I think I understand what causes thunder and lightning. I think I understand what causes earthquakes, mudslides, landslides, tsunamis. I'll be glad to discuss any of that with you. And I do not think it's a mystical, give it a mystical explanation of, well, God did it. Okay, I think there are physical science explanations for many things, most things that happen. There's a physical, so I don't put me in the category of somebody from the 1600s who believes something stupid. That's not me, okay? I think I understand, if anybody does, a little bit about what tornadoes causes them. Temperature changes and about inversion. We can talk about all that. I'll be glad to have a quiz against you on any of these topics. Okay, bring out the test. Let's take it. Let's see who's got the truth, okay? So you said they knocked over the domino of special creation. Well, you might think they did, but no, they didn't. The only logical explanation for the fact that we have all these thousands of kinds of animals is we have the fact that they exist. Let's say there's, pick a number, 8,000 or 10,000 different kinds of animals on the planet now, different kinds. It's a fact. I think everybody's going to agree that different animals exist. It is not a fact that they're related. That is your interpretation you've tried to slap on this evidence. It is not a fact that any of them are related. You may want to believe that, and I think you do want to believe that for whatever reason, but it's not part of the fact column. You did not knock over any dominoes. You said, now we know better, as if you are part of the group that knows better, and I don't think you know any such thing. How you get into the we category, I don't know. You said Kent has willful ignorance or misunderstanding. That's the only two options you gave, Nolan, neither of which is correct. It's like me saying which is correct. 5 and 5 is 11 or 5 and 5 are 11. Neither one. It's 10, okay? So you gave two false options. I'm not ignorant or misunderstanding any of this. And I resent you saying that, okay? Pick one particular topic if you'd like, and we'll stick on it until you admit you're wrong or want to weasel out and go to some next topic. Okay, they're not the only two choices. You said micro and macro only differ in scale. Well, you're welcome to believe that if you'd like, but that's not scientifically observable. Nobody's ever seen these little micro changes add up to anything other than micro changes. They stay within the same kind. Farmers have been trying for generations to breed bigger cows, bigger pigs, bigger corn, whatever. You take any plant or animal you want. They've been working hard to work. There are now 339 recognized species or breeds of dogs in the world by the American Kennel Association. They're still a dog. And they were created by some man selecting that. The Russians did experiments for 50 years now selecting foxes for tameness. Fox has a bunch of babies, kits they call them. They select the most tame, allow them to reproduce, and puts the next generation. Pretty soon you've got a whole generation of pretty tame foxes running around. Okay, that's interesting. That indicates the original gene code of the original fox contains a variety to produce from vicious to tame, and they've been selecting toward the tame end. They didn't get any foxes that turned into anything other than a fox. It's still the same kind of animal, recognizable as the same kind. Now, if you want to dream that long ago and far away it was able to happen differently, you can. Or if you want to dream that adding more time will somehow solve this problem, you're welcome to. I think there may be something similar to what we might call a mean gene in humans. people that get just vicious and mean and go around want to kill other people, sometimes, you know, if we allow them to reproduce, that's going to pass that on. Some whole civilizations seem to be pretty ferocious. I know in the Indian culture and some of the Indian tribes here in America, hundreds of years ago, they wanted everybody to be rough, tough, mean, and the kids had to go through a test to become a brave and all that kind of stuff. So pretty soon they all started to be a little more violent, I guess. I know they use a lot of Indians now for building the big skyscrapers because they seem to be fearless. Go up there on that 100-story building and walk out on the beams. You know, I don't want to do that. So there seems to be a genetic disposition to certain attitudes, and I think we see that in dogs. Some are more tame, some are more vicious, some are used for pit bull fighting type stuff. Some are used because they're real friendly with kids, but they're still a dog. Still a dog. So the micro changes that we see going from a Great Dane to a Chihuahua are limited to the same kind of animal, still a dog. No examples of anything other than that. You're welcome to believe it goes beyond that if you'd like, and I'm sure you do believe it goes beyond that, but that's not observable science. It's part of your religion. It is something you believe in. And you might even convince everybody to believe in it. Okay, that still doesn't make it true. In communist China, they've convinced all their people, you better do it this way or you're going to get your head cut off or you're going to go to jail or whatever. Okay, so everybody does it this way. That doesn't make it right. Just because a majority believes something. We have thousands of examples through history where the majority has followed somebody and they've been wrong. Take a look at Nazi Germany, World War II, or Japan for 100 years before World War II. Okay, so I do not believe anybody's ever observed any of these what we call micro changes add up to anything other than the same kind of animal. I'd like to see not just a theoretical, not just a drawing, not just an artist's conception, or drawing, put the two animals and connect them with a line to some common ancestor. Drawing a line on the paper is not science. It's artwork. And that's all evolution is based on, artwork. And you said the word kind is ambiguous. Let me clarify that for you, Nolan. The Bible says if they bring forth after their kind. Now, if it is indeed true that the African and Asian elephant cannot bring forth, I don't know that that's true, but let's assume that it is. I never thought about it, never tested it. Okay. Let's assume the African and elephant cannot bring forth live offspring. That would leave me with two options. I would say, okay, they are a different kind, or they used to be able to, but now have diversified to where they can't. That can happen. You can have Great Danes and Chihuahuas that probably can't mate and produce offspring without killing one of them. The mother probably, if the mother's a Chihuahua. Okay, it's still the same kind of animal. So that wouldn't prove anything beyond what the Bible teaches they can bring forth after their kind. Let's see, a couple of quick notes and then I'll let you have yours. You mentioned the fossil record, and indeed I do say and have said and will say again, there is no such thing as a fossil record. There is no fossil record, Nolan. There are bones in the dirt. Now you want to make it into a record and put your date and your time and your interpretation on that. Well, I'm not going to allow that at my expense in the public schools. I'm going to fight that till I die. You could start your own private school and teach that whatever you want to teach to anybody. But when you find a bone in the dirt, it is not part of a record. There is no date stamped on it. There is no sign with it. There is no proof it had any children, especially children that lived or children that were different. And why on earth would you think a bone in the dirt is capable of doing something that no animal today can do? You're welcome to believe that, but it's not science. It's not even common sense. I talk about DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, ribonucleic acid. I taught biology. I'd be glad to have a quiz against you on that topic if you'd like. DNA is incredibly complex. The code that's running your computer right now, how many lines of code are there for PowerPoint or Microsoft Word? I mean, it's into the tens of thousands of lines of code. Many times these different programs have thousands of identical lines, like probably the spell check in PowerPoint is identical to the spell check in Microsoft Word. What does that prove? That they both evolved from Morse code, or that they're all using a common designer to design the code? The DNA is evidence of an incredibly intelligent designer. I don't know why you're running from him. And you said you'll never hear Kent talk about inference. I think you just did. I think inference is wonderful, but it needs to be cautious. John Coffey died in the movie because of a wrong inference from the evidence. I think you are accepting a wrong inference from the evidence. The evidence is a lot of animals have similarities, 2 bones in the arm, etc. That's the scientific evidence. We got 2 bones, radius and ulna, so does the whale, so does the chipmunk. It's not science to say that proves common ancestor. You can believe it if you want, and I think you want to believe it and do believe it. Okay. Yes, I agree. We should fact check all of this. Most Christians do not believe in micro, did not believe in micro. I think you're totally wrong on that one, Nolan. I think all through history, people have known variations can happen, but they always stay within the same kind. There have been farmers for 4,000 years producing things like wheat and corn and cows and chickens that they get a lot of varieties. And they try to get a variety that matches their environment, whether it's cold climate, warm climate, rainy climate, whatever. They've developed some amazing varieties, but they're always the same kind. So you say now Christians accept microevolution. We always have. We do not accept, which I think would imply believe, which implies a religion to me. We do not believe that it goes anything beyond that. You do. Okay, believe what you want. I'll see you at Judgment Day and find out who's right. So please do fact check. As far as the ark being a fable, you're welcome to believe that. I think the idea that we all came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago is an insane fable. If you want to believe that, you're welcome to. And if you want to think you're related to chimpanzees or monkeys or apes or anything else, you believe whatever you want. But it's not science. It's not logical. It's not common sense. Okay, Kent calls evidence from science lies. I do not. I do list 50 some lies in the textbooks on my video number 4, which I'll be glad to share with you. Am I wrong when I said the whale bones, all they found were these certain bones and they have now interpreted them to mean common ancestor? That's exactly correct. Maybe we need an honest judge and take this to a court of law and say, hold it. Who is sharing science and who is sharing inference here and who is misinterpreting the evidence? I cover 50 lies in the textbooks on my video number 4, DVD number 4 right here, lies in the textbooks. Pick any one you'd like, Nolan, and let's duke it out right here, right now, or call back and do it again later next week or some other, as many times as you want. I'll debate you live on YouTube or Facebook or any other way. You pick on one of my lies, just send me the best 1 or 2 or 3 you'd like to discuss. I'll prepare to defend myself on those topics. Okay, Kent has no shame. I don't know what you mean by that. I love the Lord. I believe the Bible. I'm going to stand before God one day and be judged. I do not want to lie. I do not deliberately lie on any topic. I want the truth to be told. You're going to stand before God too one day. I'm going to say, Lord, I tried to warn him. He didn't want to listen. And this tape's going to be played back at your trial. We'll see how that works. Your turn.
Okay. Well, for starters, the word religion means any cultural system of designated behaviors and practices, worldviews, texts, sanctified places, ethics, or organizations that relate humanity to the supernatural or transcendental. There's no way you can call evolution a religion because it has nothing to do with the transcendental or the supernatural. There's no text for them. There's no sanctified places, cultural system, or any of that. And the other thing the other definition you use, fossil record, real quick. This is what fossil record definition is: the totality of fossilized artifacts and their placement within the Earth's rock strata. Oh, they do exist. So the fossil record is real. You just want to call it something else. It's kind of like how you don't like calling pharyngeal gill arches. You don't like calling them that. But you have no problem saying tailbone. It's kind of weird. The tail? I don't have a tail. Why are you calling it that? Another thing that I wanted to say. You want me to give you some of these things that you've said that aren't true? They're lies. Are you ready? I'll find them for you real quick, and I'll give them to you. And I'd like, this can be a conversation between us guys.
No, I'm keeping the clock. I'm watching. Whatever time you take, I want the same time without interruption. You take as long as you want.
I understand. But at some point, I want us to have a discussion. All right, here we go. CSC class 103, no, 103 class 7. You give the communist rules for revolution, and you go through 10 of them and spend 30 minutes on it. Guess what? It's false. It's a hoax. Never existed. It existed, but it was never written by communists for ways to do anything. And let's see if I can give you some more here. This one. Those who cast the votes decide nothing. Those who count the votes decide everything. You gave that for Joseph Stalin. False quote. The only person who said anything similar would be Boss Tweed of Tammany Hall. He said something similar. Joseph Stalin wasn't really concerning himself with elections. I don't know if you remember. Here we go. This year will go down in history. For the first time, a civilized country had full gun registration. Adolf Hitler, that one about gun things. False. Did not say that. One drop of water will cover the world if you spread it real thin. No. It takes 150 tons of water to cover the world with one monolayer of water. Also, the crime statistics that you gave for Australia after they did gun control. Let's see. Oh, they went down, not up. I thought they went up. You said they went up, and that was your reasoning. Here they are right here. When they implemented it, and then it looks like robbery went down to, it went from over 80,000 victims to 60,000. And it looks like
Nolan,
sexual.
hang on, I hate to interrupt, but Nolan, you have a list you have. This is wonderful. Let's go back and do these one at a time, because the listeners are going to get lost. You're going to list 10 things, and I'm going to go back and answer 10 things. Okay, you started off by saying your definition of religion and evolution is in no way a religion.
It's not. How can it be a religion? How can a Christian believe in evolution or accept evolution, and now they have two religions?
Well, they need to, no, it's simple. They need to watch my seminar so we can get them straightened out.
It seems like more and more people are moving away from that brand.
I know. I've got job security, don't I?
No, I mean, no. More and more are moving away from. I guess you have job security in the case that you could get more to you, but people are leaving. There's a reason.
Well, yeah, because all the taxpayers are paying for your religion to be taught in the schools. That's the way. That sure is convincing a lot of kids.
Do you know how much evolution is taught in high school?
What,
1 to 2 weeks.
It's all through the textbooks.
So 1 to 2 weeks out of 36 weeks a year, out of 7 classes. Okay, so we're looking at 36 times 7 is 252. So 2 hours out of 252 hours, or 2 weeks out of 252. Or what would be 252?
Well, first,
so not even 1%.
I don't know where you're getting these
of 1 year.
I don't know where,
and they don't take it anymore.
I don't know where you're making up these statistics from. You talk about making up statistics. I think every classroom is different. I was in the classroom 15 years. You can't say you don't know these things. You're making.
They gave you biology every year.
In biology or any science, there is lots of inference and stuff about the evolution theory. It's way more. It varies from publisher to publisher. On my video number 4, lies in the textbooks. The second half of that video, DVD number 4, I go through and I show a study that was done of 1999, I think, textbooks. What percentage of this book is dedicated to evolution theory? And I think Prentice Hall won with 13.6%. Some only had 2. Merrill Science had 2.4. So you're making up a number and saying it's true. It varies from textbook to textbook. It varies from teacher to teacher. It varies from school to school and classroom to classroom. You don't know what you just said, okay? But I agree.
I do know. I went to high school. We had 2 weeks of evolution.
Well, then,
all 4 years.
Well, then you wasted 2 weeks of your time learning that you came from Iraq. We can fix that. Hang in there.
I don't believe I came from Iraq. I don't know. But look, for all I know, God did it. I don't know how abiogenesis started. I have no clue. And if there's a book out there, if you can find a textbook that says abiogenesis is how it happened, and they're certain of it, and they've got the theory and all that, I'll be with you on that.
Okay.
What was the last textbook publisher you tried to get changed?
I just got some 2015 textbooks in a few months ago, and I'm going through updating my slides because they put me in prison for 9 years, so I'm a little behind on. But I was just saying.
So you haven't tried since you got out, is what you're saying?
Well, I've searched it on the. Oh yeah, I've searched it on the internet. You can find lots of stuff. They are still teaching 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth cooled down and became a hard,
Yes.
rocky crust.
Yes.
It rained on these rocks for millions of years and created oceans. In the oceans, the minerals were dissolving into the oceans and created a prebiotic soup.
They explain that this is a hypothesis. They never say this is what happened. They will tell you, we don't know how the origin of life happened. Just like we don't know how the origin of time, space, and matter happened.
Okay, first,
there's no way. Anything that says that it does.
Many textbooks do not say it's a hypothesis. I will show you in a minute if you'd like. But
really, there's 13 different competing ones for abiogenesis.
I know. If it is indeed a hypothesis, should the textbooks share the other hypothesis that maybe God did it? Should that be in the textbooks?
That's supernatural, so no.
It's also supernatural to say non-living soup can come alive with minerals.
No.
That is supernatural.
Not non-living soup. They believe that certain, it matters what your definition of life is at this point, because viroids exist that are just one strand of a gene and they're alive or not alive. We don't even consider viruses alive, yet they can reproduce. It just depends, and I don't know how it happened, and who knows?
Thank you.
God could have just done it and then let the tape play.
Oh, that's correct. That option is not taught in the schools, though. The only option presented to the kids is abiogenesis must have happened because here we are. I mean, as if that somehow is evidence. So it's totally unfair.
I never was taught that.
Well, watch my video.
I was taught like when the people started arguing against evolution, the teacher said evolution is a fact.
Well, I'm sure the teacher believes that, and that's fine. They can. It's not a fact. It's something they believe. Let me get back to.
Well, you have to believe something to know it, Kent. You believe that you're wearing a yellow shirt. I mean, you believe that you're 64. That doesn't mean it's not true.
Hey, Steve. I just accidentally shut off my PowerPoint. I want to call up seminar part 1. I was trying to switch back and forth. I want to show Nolan straight from the textbooks. Oh, over here. Okay.
Oh my God! I don't care about a book from 1989 that says the Earth started 18 to 20, or the universe started 18 to 20 billion years ago.
Why don't
it's like you cherry pick the worst books.
Application window. Okay.
Try a new book. Get a newer book, and you show me where it says that the Earth, the universe is 13. I mean, not 13.7, but it's 18, 20 billion years old.
I am updating all of my slides. We're going to redo the whole presentation. They are still teaching it in the books. Just Google.
And you also say the Big Bang started spinning faster and faster. What was that about?
That was a quote straight from a textbook, an earth science textbook.
I read that one.
Yeah.
I paused the video, and guess what? It was from talking about the sun. It says our star, the sun, was born when it was talking about spinning faster and faster.
Do you agree that the galaxies are spinning?
Galaxies?
Are galaxies spinning?
Yes.
Is our solar system spinning?
Our solar system is spinning in relation to something, yes.
Is our planet Earth spinning? You're not a flat earther, right? Praise God, you're not a flat earther. Okay. So everything we observe, all of the moons, possible exception might be asteroids. We don't know for sure. Some appear to be spinning. I don't know that you can prove. They're pretty tiny out there.
But what about that?
Where did this spin come from?
Gravity.
Gravity causes a spin?
Absolutely.
Explain that.
Absolutely.
So
where do you think it's coming from?
If I drop something, it'll start spinning because of gravity. Is that what your position is, Nolan?
No.
Gravity causes a spin. Explain that to me.
If you are in a microgravity or no gravity environment in a near vacuum, it will make you spin.
I'd like you to explain to the people
Have you ever seen what satellites do? They have to use they have power and stuff to make it where they don't spin like that. But everything spins because in relation to that. Like we're tidally locked with the moon.
Correct.
So the moon can only show its face to us from one side.
I understand that very well.
That is a gravitational lock.
I agree. We're gravitationally locked to the moon. It spins at the same rate it rotates.
So
29.2
that's
days or
proof
whatever.
that gravity makes it spin.
Okay, well, let's go on to a different topic. I disagree. But you said that, I said the textbooks teach 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth cooled down. Is that what you believe?
I believe that the Earth is 4.5 to 4.6 billion years old. That's what I'll say.
And it came from a cooling hot rock, a hot ball of rock of some kind.
It came from heavy elements and a lot of other lighter elements. That's why mostly lighter elements are at the top and the heavier elements sunk to the bottom. That's why to the core. That's why the core is made out of
Iron. Right.
and
I agree with
iridium.
Now, but this 4.6 billion years ago, you have this hot ball of mineral rock elements.
Well, really,
where did it come from?
It would have been more magma.
Okay, magma, a hot rock, yeah, melted rock. Where did that come from?
Which would be a liquid.
Which would be a liquid. Well, yeah, okay. Anything turns to a liquid at high enough temperature. Where did this hot ball of lava, magma, rock come from?
It came from a concretion disk off of the sun was forming. While the sun's forming, a concretion disk forms, and it and the rocks start to they will start to form together and get more and more. Some get bigger, some get small.
Yeah, wait a minute. It's called it's accretion, not concretion. Accretion disks. Okay. So these planetesimals begin to form, going around the sun, collecting and folding themselves into a ball shape.
In time, yes.
Okay.
Now, the sun, and then,
is this something?
You know what gravity does? I mean, that's how the sun is formed.
I understand.
The sun,
is this
like you say, like you got a chicken and an egg problem with the sun thing, right? Yeah. You say that, but no.
Well, that's another story. But I want to get one point settled here. Is this formation of the planets this story you just told, something that you observed or anybody observed, or is this a story they're making up that could be an answer to we're here? I think we'd agree we're here. How did we get here is really the question. And your story says about 4.5 or 4.6 billion years ago, we came from an accretion of particles around the sun that was forming.
What you mean? Because I can't directly.
Well, I'm just saying,
observe it.
Is this part of observational science, or is this an inference, like John Coffey in the Green Mile? Is
particle physics, since we can't observe any of that?
Well, don't change the subject. Don't change the subject. I'm
not changing the subject.
Yeah,
I'm asking you.
You're
if
diverging.
You believe that particle physics, because you can't observe it.
There are different levels of evidence in courtroom. Some is, hearsay. Well, listen, I'm trying to get an example you'll understand. In a courtroom, there's evidence that's direct evidence, photographic evidence, hearsay evidence, secondhand evidence. I heard him say that he said this. All evidence is not the same and doesn't carry the same weight. The fact is, we are standing on a planet that's 8,000 miles in diameter that's spinning around once a day. That's a fact. Now, how did it get here? Well, there's all kinds of inferences you can get. You can find the ancient Hebrew, 7936 or whatever it is. Depends on your altitude. It's which part of the Earth you're standing on. Okay, because it bulges 20 miles because of the spin.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. Now, how did it get here? You believe it was in a part of an accretion disk from the sun forming. I would like you to. I'd like you to admit to the listening audience that this is what you believe. This is not what you can prove scientifically. Is this something you can prove scientifically, Nolan, or is this your belief?
Are you saying
the formation of the Earth?
You're asking me to be able to create a star and
I know you can't do it, and I can't either. So you believe that it happened.
I believe that it happened because they've done the models.
So a model therefore makes it true. So if the model works, therefore it must have happened. Is that your position? No, I didn't say that. They
have looked at other planets from other solar systems and stuff like that. And they've seen them where it's a star is being birthed, where you don't believe in that, but you for some reason believe in supernova, which you obviously didn't check up on how long supernova would take to actually happen, or you wouldn't believe in them either. Because it's more than 6,000 years. But when it's happening, you can see the rocks, or whatever's there, and you can see it amongst and there's probably more planets than there are stars in the galaxy.
Okay, let's take this one slow bite at a time here. You're saying, your position is that they are seeing stars forming. Is that what you're saying?
I think that we see them just like, it's like this. If I take a picture of a 5-year-old, I could say that I've got a picture of that 5-year-old at that moment. You can't say that the pictures of the child becoming an adult. It's just like that with this, but they've gotten the pictures of the stars from many different phases before they become a star. So I think that by finding them in all those different phases, it shows the inference again. If I can show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 and 6 are missing, I think you can figure out that that's what you need.
Okay, so if we find a series of stars in different sizes or color bands or gravitational pulls, etc., I agree, there's different kinds of stars out there. I agree. Red giants, white dwarfs, and everything in between. I agree. To you, that is all you need as evidence that these stars are forming from. What are they forming from? This new star
hydrogen.
They're seeing forming. A star is
Hydrogen.
forming from energy?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. So hydrogen gas can form into a star. Is that your position?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It can't. No, wait. It can't just form into a star but in certain circumstances, like we have a very cold vacuum of space. It's your little what is it that you like to use? I forget what it's called. Go ahead and say it.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's something that says that the gap that it's impossible for the Bohr's gas law or something.
Boyle's gas law. Boyle's. Yeah, Boyle's, B-O-Y-L-S.
Yeah, it doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply?
It doesn't apply at 3 Kelvin in vacuum of space. So that's
Boyle's gas. I just want to get your position clear. Boyle's gas law does not apply at 3 degrees Kelvin, which is minus 456 something Fahrenheit or whatever you want to use. Okay. And therefore,
it's also an ideal gas law anyway. You know, it's only for ideal gases.
I understand.
Right?
I understand. So gases can accrete into a solid, is what you're telling me. Where's
not a solid? Why did I say a solid?
Can a star then, which is I think pretty obviously a pretty hot burning ball of something, that can
know what it is?
Well, it varies from the color spectrums. Generally hydrogen or helium. There are different color spectrums.
I'll let you in on something here. Maybe you can use it from now on.
Okay.
The gas heats up from gravitational collapse. Okay?
All right.
And if it heats up enough, nuclear fusion takes place.
I understand.
Okay? And we know that if we can heat something enough, nuclear fusion can take place. And then then a star, it will actually be a star that will not collapse on itself from gravitational collapse. But anyway, it's made out of plasma. That's a fourth state of matter.
Right.
So it's not made out of a solid. It makes solids. It really doesn't make solids. They're so liquefied by the time it gets to them.
Yeah, what happened?
But yeah, it can make them all the way up to iron.
Okay. Yeah, juice would be better. Okay. So back to the original question, though. Nobody has seen a star do this. This is theoretical.
That what?
That a star can form. Where was this gas coming from? Where's the gravity coming from? Where's the space coming from for it to happen in? Where's the energy coming from?
Okay.
You're avoiding all of that.
Okay. I don't know where everything came from. All right. But I do know by the models of the Big Bang Theory that hydrogen, a little bit of lithium, and maybe a little bit of beryllium was produced. And hydrogen being what a star is, and it being the easiest element to make, since it only needs one neutron.
To make out of what?
To make out of, what do you mean?
Hydrogen is made out of what? Made out of a neutron and a proton, but where did that come from?
Both. Not both. One.
Neutron, proton, one electron, one neutron, one proton.
You can't have a neutron and a proton. It'll weigh more. It only has one.
Where did it come from? Where did the electron come from? The single electron.
It took 360,000 years before it was cold enough in the galaxy that was the whatever galaxy, the nascent galaxy. And when that happened, it's just that they were able to be captured and neutrons will be able to be formed. Stuff can't exist at certain temperatures. Do you understand that?
Way better than you do. Yes, sir.
Yes, you understand way better than me. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, certain things can't exist at certain temperatures. And then later, when the temperature cools down, that's when the hydrogen, lithium, and beryllium were able to be made. Maybe even some deuterium, maybe even some tritium. But the way gravity works, things are attracted to each other.
Why?
And since do what?
Why?
Like things that have.
Why are things? Where did gravity come from?
Where did it? It's one of the four fundamental forces.
Well, where did it come from? Who made gravity?
Who made the electromagnetic spectrum?
Very good. I think I know him very well. Talked to him this morning.
Who made it?
The Lord. I'd like to introduce you to him.
Okay, wait. The Lord made it? Okay, wait. You gave an answer. Okay, I've got that. That gives a lot more questions. Ready?
I don't think we're done with your questions yet.
No, who is the? I stopped with those questions because you told me to.
I did.
So we were just going back and forth.
I said, where did gravity come from? Where did the particles come from? Where did the energy come from? You said it cooled down. Where did the heat come from to cool from? Cooling indicates heating down to cooling. Where did the original heat come from?
You know where the heat. Did you teach high school science for 15 years?
I taught for 15 years, yes, sir.
Okay, then where did the heat come from? Do I have to tell you?
I'm asking you where you believe it came from. I'm trying to demonstrate to the listening audience that you have a religion, not a science. You believe these things. You don't know them. You can't prove this scientifically. This is part of your religion. And I think they're seeing it very clearly, Nolan. Thank you. Go ahead.
They can, with the Big Bang Theory, which was actually a bad name given to it by forgot his name right now, Fred Hoyle,
Belgian guy, whatever.
Named it that because he hated it. But it wasn't accepted at first. Nobody wanted it because it wasn't nice and clean like this other theory. Wasn't everything expanding and the world was just going forever and it wouldn't be a problem. This one has a problem where not only is it expanding, it's accelerating. Do you agree that the universe is accelerating?
I don't think we know that for sure. It appears to be.
Are you serious?
We get a red shift from quite a few stars. It appears to be they're going away from us. Now, if they are accelerating, the obvious question is, where's this extra energy coming from? Because, F equals ma, and where's the mass is staying the same. And so if the acceleration is increasing, where's this force coming from? That's simple physics 101. Well, you tell me.
It's called dark energy and dark matter. We don't know what those are. Those are placeholder names.
It's one more. Call it dark science. Nobody sees any of that. Okay.
Just because it's 14 hours. It would be like arguing with somebody in the 15th century saying, who knows what? The germ theory of disease. There's no way bacteria makes you sick. Or something like that. Or arguing about plate tectonics. That's what this sounds like. It's just because you can't see.
No,
see it.
okay, let's go back to the original
Doesn't.
question. I'm asking you, you said 4.6 billion years ago, or 4.5, whatever number you want to use, the Earth formed.
Sure.
From what? Where did the matter come from? Where did the energy
It
come
came from an exploding star.
And where did that star come from?
We can play the game of cat and mouse here.
Well, that's what they do. See,
okay.
the textbooks
that
teach
one
this stuff. They teach it to all the
came
kids
from
like it's
another
fact,
organ.
and it's a religion.
Okay. Why is it a religion?
It's something you
When I
believe
gave-
in. You believe in it, and you believe in it very strongly.
I don't believe in it.
You
I
don't,
accept it as
No, you
the
believe in
best
it.
we get. You
Well,
said the Lord did it.
I
But
think I'm here to
wait.
give you the more logical explanation.
Is a more logical.
Absolutely. There had to be somebody
Okay.
outside of time, space,
It's-
matter.
It's more logical that there's an omnipresent, omniscient, omnibenevolent for God, omnipotent God that just decided to just make humans. Do you know what is an ant to you, Dr. Hovind?
Oh, there's probably 6,000 different species of ants. We got them all over here. Fire
What-
ants are, to
What,
me, they're a
what are
nuisance.
they to you? Would you just step on one without thinking twice?
Oh, if it's in my house or interfering with my safety, sure, absolutely, I'd step on it. Yeah.
So what would we be to an omniscient, omnipotent God?
Oh, much less than an ant. Why he loves
Then
us?
why does
Why he loves us is amazing to me.
can he lie?
Can God lie?
Yes.
He reveals himself to us through a book, and he says he cannot lie.
So he can't,
That's what the book says.
So-
God cannot lie.
which means I can do something God can't.
Good point. Excellent point. I guess it goes back to a different moral argument, way off track from what we're talking about creation, evolution.
But what I wanted to say about him is,
I'm not asking for all the public schools to teach about my God at taxpayer expense. You're
But you
asking
kinda
everybody to
are,
teach your
because-
stupid religion of evolution at taxpayer expense.
I've heard
Burden
you
of proof's on you.
say that people can teach creation science in class. No
They-
problem.
They often get
That's
fired,
right.
and they shouldn't.
Not a big deal. And you said that they should be able to do it.
Legally, they can, but they often get fired if they do it.
Okay, but you said that they legally can't, and that you
Alert
wanted them
from
to.
system UI server. Low battery.
But anyways,
Alert from
I asked you
low
this question.
battery.
I asked you this question the other week, and it's about day 3. Why didn't the plants and everything die on day 3 before the sun?
Well, I think you'd find any botanist of any brain caliber at all would tell you plants can live one day with no photosynthesis going on, no sun, absolutely fine. Not to
They
live for
can't
millions
live
of years.
without heat.
Why are you assuming there's no heat?
Why would there be heat? It's the sun that gives us our heat.
That's correct. In Genesis 1:1, there was light before there was sun. God himself is light, and I would assume provided
God
the heat.
himself is light and heat.
Apparently, it's not a problem for me. But again,
Apparently.
Nolan, you're missing the
That's
point.
that's your answer.
I'm not asking for my belief to be taught at taxpayer expense.
But
You
what
are.
I'm saying is, if you're going to explain that God was heat and light before, you're kind of helping out the day age people, because you say, because your reasoning for their reason there won't work is because there's no sun till day 4. Therefore, the plants would die because, if it's millions of years later, the sun would die, and they'd die because they would get cold and they wouldn't have any photosynthesis. But now, if you're saying Jesus or God can give these people that, then their theory works just as well as yours now.
The fact that the Bible doesn't specifically mention heat, it does mention light in the first couple of verses. The fact that it doesn't mention it doesn't mean it's a problem either way for the creationists. The plants do need a certain amount of heat. I understand that. Most can't survive, sub-freezing temperatures for long periods of time. But if God can provide the light, he can provide the heat. But I'm not asking for my theory to be taught. You are demanding that everybody teach your religion at taxpayer expense.
I'm asking, okay, I have a question then. Wait a second. If, let's say they stop teaching it, would you, okay, for instance, let's say Hitler was a bad person, right? Terrible person.
I believe so, yeah.
Should we learn about him in history?
We should learn that he was terrible and horrible, not what a great idea he had of killing all the people he don't agree with.
Okay.
I think we should learn what a dumb idea evolution is. Kids ought to be taught. You know, here's one theory. Back 100 years ago, somebody made up an idea that we all came from a rock. I think that's dumb. Ha ha.
No, the theory doesn't say that.
It does too. I was trying to get you to admit.
No, evolution only has to deal with life once it exists.
So how did life get started?
They don't know. I don't know. It could have been God.
Wow.
You tell me.
I'll be glad
how
to.
many different kinds
God created it.
of animals he had to put on the ark when he says kinds of ravens in Leviticus. Because if there's different kinds of ravens, that means that kind is more like a species.
It could be. I don't know where the boundary for kind is. And there may be different varieties of ravens that are incapable of reproducing. I don't know.
I'm happy to see you're not saying that you don't know where the species boundary is anymore, because you
do you know where the species do you know where the species boundary is?
Okay. I'll explain it like this. All right. I told you this the other day, that dogs and wolves are the same species. That's why they're interfertile, but they have it's a different subspecies, Canis lupus familiaris or domesticus. Now, when speciation is in the middle of it happening, like it's more like, let's say, since it's such a it takes so long, and it could be like I wouldn't know how to explain like exactly when the speciation happened, like the exact one, but let's say the difference between violet and indigo as colors, okay? They're nanometers apart, 1 nanometer. Now, what if I got 1 picometer, okay, and said, and I went to 450 nanometers, and then I went to plus 1 picometer. Do you think you could tell that it was violet?
No.
Or would you say it was indigo?
I think the color, man has put an arbitrary division and divided up into 7, but in reality, the color band is one continuous spectrum of, and you can go beyond picometers if you'd like. It's amazing the way the color band is designed and the way that our eye can perceive it. You'd almost think the eye was designed, if you didn't know any better, to see this color, to see these amazing colors.
Do you know how much stuff we can't see?
Oh, yeah.
We can't see most anything.
You can't see the obvious. There was a designer.
What's the obvious?
God designed the world.
What? How?
I don't know. I'm going to ask you one day, and I'll try to relay the information to you wherever you are at that time.
Why do you think that? Because somebody, when you were old, you told this story, and you said that you were, like you said, I'm going to die one day. And it sounded like you were scared of dying. And so you went and gave your heart to Christ.
There are multiple reasons to give your heart to Christ. It's the most logical thing to do, to study and love your Creator. You're going to die one day too, Nolan. In your worldview, what's going to happen?
And I gave my heart to Christ at 10.
I don't believe that, but it's up to you. I mean, I'm not your judge.
You don't believe that?
I
absolutely did.
I can just look at the fruit and see that you're a bitter, angry young man right now, and you don't believe God's word. I don't think you believe the creation story. I think you've fallen for this dumb evolution religion, and I feel sorry for you, and I'd like to help.
I feel sorry for the people that watch your channel, because you are beyond helping, because you make money off this. Something that you've said about other people before. You've said more than once, well, that person makes money off of that, so that you can't trust them. Well, you're making money off this, so why should I trust you on it?
Well, I have had a policy for nearly 30 years. People can buy my videos, watch them, and return them and get their money back. Show me any evolutionist or atheist. Can I buy Richard Dawkins' book, read it, and then return it and get my money back?
I don't know.
Show me any evolutionist that'll do that. I've been doing that consistently since day one.
But
forced to
you
give
also
anything to me. People love our
no,
ministry and
you
they
told
donate.
me, you actually told everybody that policy has gotten you more money.
Oh, God has blessed greatly. We're broke again, but
Yes.
that's his problem. Now, I
So
won't
if
go
it's
back.
gotten you more money, then it sounds like it was. And here's the thing: as a Christian ministry, you didn't want to go around filing lawsuits of people doing that to your tapes. So you made the right decision and just said, let them copy them, because they were going to do it anyways. I mean, do you really think that people aren't going to copy the new hot DVD when it comes, or Blu-ray when it comes out?
No problem. I don't mind if they do, as long as they don't resell it. It's my intellectual property. Anybody can copy it. One guy in Texas made 41,000 copies of my videos. Just please do.
Did he ever donate anything?
I don't know. No, he makes copies and sends them out. He's a missionary using my stuff. But see,
That's great.
if I did that with Richard Dawkins' book, if I made copies of his book and sold it, I think he would get upset. If you write a book,
but he did. But wait a second, that's not the same thing.
Yeah,
You said sold it. If that guy was selling those tapes, you would have been mad.
I've told everybody, don't sell them and don't change them, don't edit
Exactly.
them. Sure.
So if you made copies of Richard Dawkins and you were giving them out,
okay. If I made copies and gave them out, would he get mad at me?
I believe that if you wrote him first and asked him and you said what your reasoning for it was, I bet you could get some type of latitude to do that.
Ability to copy. Okay, I may do that. He won't debate me. I know that. You said a couple things.
I know he won't. You know why he won't?
I do know why he won't.
You know, I'll tell you why.
Let's
He
hear it.
said because he said, like, for instance, let's say there's a flat earther and he wants to debate, an earth scientist or a reproductive scientist and a guy who's an advocate of the stork theory. He's like, at some point, you just tell these people no. It's like, no, I mean, your side lost, and yet you won't ever admit losing. You'll just keep. I like that. I want you to give me your young Earth proofs, so I can just blow them out the water for you.
Well, we've already gone 2 hours here. I think we should do this again another day. I mean, I can go all day if you like.
Come on.
But you want to keep going?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we can split it up into two later. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, no, I've got other irons. I scheduled 2 hours. I'll take more. I can tell people to call back.
Yeah, well, you said that other guy like didn't, like, you were scheduled to 3. So
yeah, I've got a family waiting for me back at the camp that wants to tour the place they came to visit from.
Okay.
But that's okay.
But
Nolan,
let's start.
I want to win you. I want to win you to the Lord. Is what I want to do. I don't
Yes,
think you know him.
I believe you.
Okay. Your worldview says man is nothing but an advanced animal. If I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Nothing but.
What are we? What is man?
What is man?
Who are you, Nolan?
It depends. It depends. Man as a being is just an organism, but we have the ability to create symphonies and to save people from burning buildings and do so much right in the world. You know, clean water for people and just save people from, just pits or from wells, and we also have the ability to do horrible things.
Why, if man is just an animal, is there an afterlife, Nolan? Is there a heaven or hell? Is there any afterlife?
I hope so.
Does man have something other than just a body, like a spirit or a soul of some kind? Is there more to man than just
we
a
have
body?
We have a mind. We are self-aware.
And does that cease?
The other animals are not self-aware.
So is man different? Is man different than the animals?
What do you mean?
Well, if we're self-aware and they're not self-aware, we are different somehow. We have something they don't have.
Yes, but
where did that evolve?
Also,
how did that evolve out of the animals? At what point did man become self-aware and get this new whatever it is in us that helps us to be self-aware? We'll call it a spirit.
Well,
where did that come? How did that evolve?
It wouldn't have mattered if the self-aware thing is good, but do you know what the #1 greatest invention is?
Water.
I would say that's a good one.
Okay.
But it's the written language.
I don't know if it's an
So
invention.
we could learn from others and learn, and in time, we can have enough information to stand on the shoulders of giants. And that's how we've learned so much in the last few hundred years, where before it wouldn't have happened. Just like we have more people alive right now than ever. And since there's more people, you have that many more chances for something, great to happen and to learn. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this question about the moon and the Earth. You said it's 1.2 billion years. 1.2 billion.
I'd have to call up I give the reference right on screen.
Okay. Have you done the math?
Steve. I just simply, is it the green arrow? To get my PowerPoint back?
Yeah, that's fine. Look it up just to make sure it's right.
Yeah, on my video number 1, open part 1, right there. Yep. No, up above that. Yeah, right there. Okay. On my video number 1, I give the reference, but I think I need to point out a much bigger picture, Nolan. I don't think you're seeing. I am not asking my theory to be taught.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's not what I'm talking about right now.
All right. Let's see. Next.
Right. So what is the number for the moon to touch the Earth?
Okay. The moon is going around the Earth. It is receding. Here is from curious.astro.Cornell University, where they say the moon's orbit, its circular path around the Earth, is indeed getting larger at the rate of 3.8 centimeters per year, about 1.5.
Okay.
This is from Cornell University.
I'm going to do those numbers. Okay.
That's from Cornell
3.8 centimeters, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. Times, let's say, what would that be? Let's put it in inches. 3.8 centimeters is 1.5 inches,
Okay.
right?
Yep. Right.
Okay, 1.5 inches.
250,000 miles average.
Okay, so 1.5 inches times 8 would make 1 foot.
Times 12.
Right?
No, there's 12 inches in a foot in Alabama.
But 1.5 times 8 would.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that would be 8 years. That would be 1 foot.
You're assuming a linear progression. Anybody that studied this says it's logarithmic.
Times 5,280. Okay.
In feet per mile, correct?
That would be 42,000 feet. 42,000 feet.
Okay.
Okay. 42,000 years that we're at a mile.
Okay.
And now you need 240,000 miles or 250. Let's just do 240,000.
Yeah, it's close enough.
That is equal to 10 billion years.
Well, you're
off by a whole order of magnitude.
You're missing 2 major points. One is you don't have to get all the way to touch the Earth. Way before that time, you'd have a problem, a royal problem.
When?
I don't know. But secondly, you're missing the point that it would not be a linear progression. It would be logarithmic. It'd be follow the inverse. It's called the inverse square law.
No, but the Earth would hold it closer the closer it was to Earth, even though the tides and everything would be stronger.
Okay, go to
what I'm saying.
Wait a minute. You'd like published journals. Here's the Astronomical Journal. The Astronomical Journal, Volume 108, Number 5, November 1994. On page 1954, they said, and I quote, "The evolution of the lunar semi-major axis presents a well-known timescale problem. The lunar orbit collapses only a little over 1 billion years ago."
And
so
when was this written?
Astronomical Journal, 1994. They're saying it's called The Evolution of the Earth-Moon System is the article. The orbit would collapse 1 billion years ago because just like getting 2 magnets closer together, the force of attraction increases. It's inverse square law, simple physics. So here's again from Cornell University, curious.astro.cornell.edu. This was July 2015. The moon's orbit is increasing 1.5 inches a year. Now, You're missing the point, though, Nolan. I'm not asking for my theory to be taught. I think you'll find scientists would agree that the orbit is indeed enlarging. That means it used to be closer, and it puts some kind of time limit. You don't want any time
10 billion years, like I showed you.
No, you didn't show me. You came to the math of 10 billion years because you don't understand inverse square laws about logarithmic progression rather than linear progression.
Okay, even it wouldn't even get a halfway there. Okay, and another thing, they don't think the moon, like, it's, okay, the moon, the way the moon was formed, this is what they're going with. A planet the size of Mars hit Earth.
Just move it.
And then what came out of it, the ejecta, formed the moon.
That's the ejection
so
hypothesis. That's called the ejection.
There
are 4 different hypotheses about the moon formation. That's called the ejection hypothesis, proven wrong a long time ago. If you
that one was not.
Oh yeah, if you want to believe that, you're way behind on your science, but that's okay. It's not possible to eject something out of the Earth and create a almost perfectly spherical object like the moon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what gravity does.
That's okay. Well, you can believe that if you'd like, but it's not observable science, and I resent that being taught to the kids at my expense. You need to go start a private school and teach it to your kids, and you pay for it.
How about that? Okay, how about this one that you love so much?
Sounds like you're obsessed with my seminar, Nolan. I'm a really nice guy.
No, it's because some of this stuff is wrong.
I showed you right from the published journals that you're so proud of that I'm not wrong. You're wrong. It's 1 billion years ago.
Okay, how about this one? Your whole thing about it's 1,000th of a second is how much we lose every day, right? The Earth's slowing down.
Okay, we are back to my seminar part 1, where I talk
it's
about
a millisecond every day.
Oh, hang on. Home. Let me get to that one. The Earth's spin. Let's see. The spin of the Earth. Here we go. Okay, I'm in my PowerPoint now, part 1. Here's, again, from Cornell University, July 2015. However, the change in the Earth's rotational period, that would be the spin, was first measured using eclipses, of all things. Astronomers who studied the timing of eclipses over many centuries found that the moon seemed to be accelerating in its orbit. But what was actually happening was the Earth's rotation was slowing down. The effect was first noticed by Edmund Halley in 1695 and first measured by Richard Dunthorne in 1748. The Earth is slowing down in its spin. Here's an article from the Pensacola News Journal about we have to add a second to the clock because regular clocks are using days as a measure, which are growing longer. Here's from Astronomy Magazine. Earth's rotation is slowing down. To compensate, we have to have a leap second. June is going to be 1 second longer. People can look this up. They have leap seconds about every year to year and a half. This is happening continually. Earth is in line for a time tune-up, is the article from the International Earth Rotation Service. Another one. Astronomy Magazine, again. I think a leap second is a 1 second adjustment, occasionally applied to a lot of them. Okay. This is from, let's see, International Earth Rotation and Reference System Services, 2016.
You do know a leap second is added to only the year, not to every day, right?
Yeah, I understand, right. Added to the year, I understand.
Okay.
But here, 27 leap seconds. 27 leap seconds have been inserted. The most recent is December 31st, 2016. Here's from International Earth Rotation Service. So my point is very simple. The Earth is spinning. It is slowing down.
Okay. And it does it over 1.4. It does it 1.4 milliseconds every century. That's the number. Look it up. You can look it up. It's not my article. It's everywhere.
Is the purpose of this line of questioning to say that the Earth could be billions of years old and Earth's spin would not affect that? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, you may be correct. You may be correct. I am simply pointing out, A, it is spinning. B, it is slowing down. That means it had to be going faster at some point back in time you're going to create multiple problems, not only with gravity spinning it into a disk, more bulge at the equator, hence more earthquakes and volcanoes and everything else, and shorter daylight time for photoperiodism for plants. It's not a problem.
Really?
I just simply say it's not a problem for creation.
When did plants evolve?
They didn't. They were created.
Okay, well, in their theory, when did plants evolve?
Oh, I don't know.
Any idea?
That number changes. That number
ago?
changes from textbook to textbook. I've got a couple
Yeah,
hundred miles.
textbook to textbook, but not. But anyway, if the planet was spinning crazy 4.6 billion years ago, and plants don't evolve till 400 million years ago, the Earth was actually like 22.8 or something like that, or 22.4
hours per day.
Mm-hmm. 20, yeah, hours per day.
So 400 million years ago is 22.4 hours per day. Are there plants that are dependent on more sunlight than that? The plants are very sensitive to what's called photoperiodism. You can Google that. And certain plants, they shut down if there's not enough daylight hours. And that's why there's fall seasons in some latitudes. But we're off track here. Again, your point. Oh, I just lost it. I didn't touch nothing here.
That was him.
Well, I'm still recording here for YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll call back.
He'll call back. We somehow lost him. We'll work on that.
That was on his end.
Oh, Nolan, you're still
Sorry.
there. Good. Okay, I thought maybe you got
Can
angry.
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I thought you got angry and quit.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can't hear me, apparently.
Can't.
I can hear you fine. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, hang on. We lost him.
He's got a call.
We have to call both. Okay. Now, see, according to evolution, complicated things like internet all should happen automatically. What is the problem here, Steve? We're not waiting, Billy.
Yeah, we got it. Tell him to take his stuff off of hold.
Hold it. Take your stuff off hold on Skype. We can't see you. I can hear you on the phone, but I can't.
Yeah.
Call him on Skype. Okay, we're calling right now.
Hello.
Hello. Now I hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
What I was saying was that
It was.
that complicated phones and anything like you always do. You'll go a car, a Honda Civic and a Honda Prelude. They probably use millions of the same things, but they weren't made from a skateboard. Well, they don't reproduce.
Oh, I've heard that argument. I know.
There's no way for them to have common ancestry. Can we agree upon that? So why do you continue to use that?
Do stars reproduce?
Do stars?
Do planets reproduce? Do rocks reproduce?
No.
Thank you.
No, rocks don't reproduce. What do you mean?
Did rocks produce life one time long ago and far away?
No, I don't think so.
Where did life come from?
I don't know.
Okay.
I hope God did it.
He did.
It's just one of those things that, look, not knowing, okay, it's not like a bad thing to say I don't know.
Oh, I say it all the time.
Just because
I say it all the time, and I wish you would say that about this dumb evolution religion you follow.
all right, let's say a part of it. Let's see what you say. Okay, Microraptor, Velociraptor, and Archaeopteryx. Okay.
Okay.
Especially Microraptor and Velociraptor both have feathers. They are dinosaurs. Now, explain that with just created.
Okay.
Was a reptile created with feathers?
It's real simple, Nolan. Listen carefully. Some bones were found in the dirt.
Yeah.
They have little lines coming off that somebody is interpreting as feathers, or they may actually have feathers on them. Okay.
They found many.
End of evidence. Bones are found in the dirt with feathers. Okay. That does not prove it's changing to anything else. It proves it died. End of story.
Yeah.
End of story. It died. Did it have?
Right.
Can you
That's
prove?
okay. I would hate for you to be on a forensic, a team or something, because no cases would get solved. Well, I mean, the knife wound to his throat just proved he died. We can't figure anything else out here. Let's just walk away.
Okay, so you found.
No,
let's say
there's more to be found.
Let's say they found hundreds of Archaeopteryx, as an example, hundreds of them. They died. Can you prove any of those fossils had any children that lived?
Absolutely. Not those fossils, but we can prove that they were a population of an animal.
Can you prove that
animals? Here's the thing. Okay, animals do not speciate by like one or two at a time. They speciate as a population. We've proven this with ring species and other species. Like, for instance, do you really think that a horse kind gave birth to 2 zebra kinds?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, that's impossible.
I agree.
Because you can only give birth to your same species. But in time, yes, a zebra could have been made. And then that's how that works.
No, it's not how it works. That's how you believe it works. That's your religion. You believe it works.
Those animals, those 5 Archaeopteryx, they are representatives of a population of birds that had reptilian features. That is kind of like I would call it like a missing link or intermediate. How is that not an intermediate?
It died, Nolan. You don't know it had any children. You don't know if it's intermediate between anything.
Can you tell me what would count as an intermediate then?
You'd have to see it happen to be real science. To be real science, somebody should be able to make something in the laboratory, produce something other than its kind. Science, see, you don't understand what science is. It's things we can observe, study, test, and demonstrate. Believing that an Archaeopteryx is evidence for something is not science. It's a religion.
So in other words, there's no way for evolution to be proven, or not proven, but to be a viable theory in your mind.
Depends what you mean by the word.
Because it has to be done in the laboratory, and they have to have a species born.
It depends what you mean by the word.
That's an intermediate.
It depends what you mean by the word evolution.
Is that what you're saying? It's essentially impossible to prove, or
it's a religion. You believe in it. You believe in it very strongly, and a lot of people believe in it very strongly. But that doesn't make it.
Because I have a question. Do you think they can use DNA to say who your grandparents were?
Yes, sir. I think that's very close to a science.
How about your great grandparents?
Probably get closer. Yeah.
How about your great 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 grandparents?
I think it probably gets fuzzier the further you go back in time because there's so much.
It will be with other people, but if the DNA is there, they can find out if it's with you too. You know, like mitochondrial E, where they found the genetic makeup to prove that.
Yeah, there was a study of a bunch of women around the world to say, do they have a common gene code? Yeah.
Human woman to give birth to the people that are on the planet.
I even know her husband's name.
What I'm saying is this: if something only varies between 99.9, that's what we are. All humans. You said one of your things that humans vary 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7%. We vary by 0.1%.
What varies by what? Height, weight, skin color? What varies?
The DNA, and the DNA of a bonobo and a chimpanzee varies with us by 98.3, 98.4. So going through this thing of relation, and you can tell because the things that have closer DNA to the other thing, they look similar, and they have things in common. And besides, why did God copy and paste chimpanzee DNA before he made humans? Because that's what he must have done, because chimpanzees were first, and most of their DNA is in ours.
How do you know chimpanzees were first?
You want to know? How do I know? Because he made the animals on day 6, then he made man.
Yeah, a couple of minutes later, it doesn't. What do you mean? There's no chance of any genetic.
You what?
A few minutes later, there's no chance of any inheritance there.
But okay, what I'm saying is this. All right. If you do know about chromosome number 2 and how it's fused, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you think that happened?
You know, when I boot up my computer, quite frequently it will say, oh, we've got an update. We have to fix this. And so they have to update different programs. The different companies that produce computer programs are constantly trying to tweak it, improve it, update it, add new features, or correct mistakes that were made. I think that the DNA code of just chromosome number 2, just that one chromosome, contains more information than all the computer programs ever written by man combined. All the programs ever written in the history of humanity. Take, you know, Microsoft PowerPoint, all none of that totals what is just the information in just chromosome number 2. So why
they don't have the ability for common ancestry? So,
but you think this
since they can't be common ancestors, it's irrelevant. It's a different type of information.
Well, if chromosome 2 in chimpanzees and chromosome 2 in humans looks very similar under the microscope,
why would ours be a fusion of 2 of theirs?
We don't know that it is a fusion of 2 of theirs. I have my own chromosomes. I didn't get them from the chimpanzees. I got them from my parents.
We have found where the site is exactly where the base pairs are. They can tell you exactly where the base site is at, where the other chromosome with the telomere. So it has it has 2 dead telomeres, 1 dead centromere there. It should only have 2 telomeres and 1 centromere, but instead it has 4 telomeres and 2 centromeres. And all that information is from chromosome 13, I believe, of the chimpanzee. So it didn't come from a chimpanzee; it came from a common ancestor of it. But it's just, but why would that be like that?
Think what you are saying here.
Talk a little louder. I can barely hear.
Okay, we have the most complicated code in the universe, right in every cell of our body. More complicated than all the computer programs running this Microsoft and Skype and internet, all this.
I only see life make other life. I don't see God making life. I see life making life.
Correct.
So if you want to say,
God gave each plant and animal the ability to reproduce. I think it's wonderful. And it's amazing.
Why are you adding God to an equation? Have you ever heard of Occam's razor?
I have.
You don't think adding God is just adding something to it that's going to make more questions? Where did God come from? Where does he abide? What's his motives? Why did he do this?
You are adding time as the solution to everything. Given enough time, the things we don't see happening now might happen if we give it enough time. We never see dogs produce non-dogs. Never.
No.
But you think if we had enough time, it would happen, don't you?
I believe what?
If we had enough time, going forward, they might produce something different than a dog. And going backwards, they obviously came from something different than a dog. But all of this takes place in an imaginary feature like time.
Really?
You don't see it happen. No, I don't see it happen. No farmer ever sees it happen.
Okay. I have a question now. You believe that cats have a common ancestor with other cats?
I don't know. It's interesting. There's lions, tigers, puma, jaguar.
How about mice?
With mice?
Mice.
I think cats regularly ingest mice chromosomes as they eat them.
Or rabbits and hares. How about them?
That's a good one. I don't know. See, exactly where the border is between the kinds, I think, is a subject of research that needs a lot of work.
Can you talk some? I can barely hear you.
Okay. I think the border between the different kinds.
Borderline?
What's the matter, Steve?
Is that what you said?
Yeah, the borderline between the different kinds is a little fuzzy in a few places. But that I'm not asking for mine to be taught at taxpayer expense. The fact that I can't answer the question is irrelevant. You're demanding we all pay for your religion to be taught. The burden of proof's on you.
It's not a religion.
It is.
I'm asking for it to be taught in an unbiased point of view.
Oh, like it is.
This is the theory we have. You would be doing people a disservice. Is it or is it not a theory in science right now?
Is what a theory in science?
Okay, it's evolution. Is it?
Oh, yeah, it's one of the theories taught in science.
Okay, so since it's a theory in science, I think a teacher would be doing a disservice not to teach it. Even if they don't believe in it, they should say, hey, this is what it says. If you don't believe in it, good, just answer the questions right and move on. But it seems like you expect in evolution a huge jump into a different kind. That can't happen.
It can't happen. You think it did happen?
It can't.
Do you believe giraffes? Do you believe giraffes and
produce a whale?
Are giraffes and bananas? Are giraffes and bananas related? If we go way back in time, go back as far as you want. Are giraffes and bananas related?
Their DNA is, I think, 25% similar.
Do you believe they're related?
Keep going.
There is a chance that they are. Not them like related, like you know, like hey cousins, but I'm talking distantly and on billions of years different, or not billions, but hundreds of millions of years difference.
Nolan, we got to quit here now. I got other projects. This is wonderful. Please, let's schedule this again. I'm home the first couple of days of next week. I leave Thursday. Contact Rhonda or Steve here and set up a time to let's go round two.
All right.
As soon as you
like. There's a lot more I wanted to ask.
Oh, please do. Yep. First, calm down. It's going to be fine. Okay.
All right.
I don't bite. I'm a nice guy. And it may
you need to give a closing, or can we have a closing?
Yeah, you can have a closing, and then or you can go first, or I'll go first. Either way, whichever you'd like.
Good.
What do you
love to have a closing?
Go ahead. You go first.
You want to go first?
No,
I got to get to mine.
No, I got to make a few notes here. So you go ahead and go for it. Get to your closing, and I'm not quite ready yet. And then we'll get ready for round two whenever you'd like.
All right. I want to say this in closing. Hey, Ken Hovind believes in any of the science that agrees with his interpretation of the Bible. You see, he came to the Bible and became really big into it, and then he even believed in millions of years for a little while, and then he decided that they didn't work together, and then he got into scientific creation, which has actually been, I think a court case said that it can't be called that or whatever. But anyways, and so he got big into this, and then he made ministry out of it, and you know, good for him. And I just like to say that a lot of the stuff that he teaches is wrong, and not only is it wrong, it's harmful to other people, like those communist rules for revolution that aren't even real, or telling people that like universe means a single spoken sentence, uni and verse, because there's verse and prose. Verse means spoken and prose means written. No, that's not true. Verse is also written. It's not a spoken thing. It's not even close. Universe means one turn. I think it's French. And by the way, the Big Bang Theory, nothing is spinning. Like in this thing, he says everything is spinning the same way. And if everything isn't spinning the same way, then that proves the Big Bang Theory is not true. When he was talking to that guy on the plane in Berkeley, no, that's not true. Everything wouldn't have been spinning the same direction, because that happened millions and millions of years afterward. If you look up the Big Bang Theory and understand it. Also, he said only chlorophyll can use the sun's energy at one point. That's also crazy, because cyanobacteria uses it, plankton use it. 75% of all oxygen that we breathe comes from the ocean, and it doesn't come from ocean plants. And he also said on a thing with a guy named Michael Rood that they were pterodactyls flying over Papua New Guinea, and they had video of it. I would love to see that video. I mean, come on, where are they holding them from? This is millions and millions of dollars worth. And a pterodactyl, he said, was found after they blew open a rock, a big rock to make a road or something with dynamite. 9-inch wingspan. This is in 102 class 7. Okay? See, TSC 102, the college class 7. And he says, pterodactyl got out, stretched its wings 10 foot 9 inches. I mean, that's pretty, you know, on the money numbers. And then it squawked. I guess it's a bird now. And then died. Well, darn. And then, I mean, they did have cameras then, but nobody took one. and he also said that toads are found in rocks and coal, and he blamed the flood on this stuff. Toads can't live in any rocks or coal that is sealed for any amount of time because they don't hibernate. Even if they did, they would die in a few years. But it's just another thing one more thing I wanted to get out, and that's that it seems like Kent has he loves Christianity, he loves God and all that stuff, but he won't even mention it when he mentions his diploma. Well, his first one. He's always said, I got a PhD in education, not Christian education, which is what it is in. That is a totally different one with totally different coursework. You wouldn't do anything that has to do with education with a whatever Christian education degree. But it sounds good to make it like, hey, I teach science, I got a PhD in education, so it sounded good at the time. And it's not a real lie, it's just, I would say, dishonest. And also the Hunza tribe that he said lived to be 160 and to 90, yeah, they're living to age 53 and they're unhealthy and have a lot of diseases and stuff. But anyway, I would be delighted to do this again, sir. It's been a delight. I have much more to talk about, and you can have the floor.
Well, thank you, sir. You only took about 5 minutes there, but I'd be thrilled to come back. Let's do it again early next week, if possible, or whenever you'd like. Can you still hear me? You can't hear me?
No.
They're still doing.
What happened here? Yeah, call him back.
Sorry.
You don't want. Hang on. He shut you off accidentally, Nolan. He's calling here. I want him to hear that. There it comes. According to evolution. Wait, folks, till we get him back on the phone. This is only fair. Hello. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. Can you hear me now, Nolan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. You only took 5 minutes. I'll do the same and we'll quit. Let's do this again next week, round 2. As soon as you can. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think I'm here. You can check with Rhonda. She knows what other stuff she has scheduled for me. Okay.
Round 2?
Rhonda, the secretary. Just secretary at drdino.com.
And you said next week?
If you'd like, sure. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I like this. I
love it. My closing arguments here. You said a lot of stuff he teaches is wrong and harmful. First, I disagree. I don't know of anything I teach that's wrong or harmful. I think that applies to the evolutionists who are teaching lots of things that are wrong and harmful. This was the very philosophy that gave behind Adolf Hitler. It's my turn to give.
Can I ask you a quick question?
No, sir. My turn to give a closing, and we'll do it next time, Monday. Okay.
Okay.
As far as pterodactyls found in New Guinea, I gave the evidence. I gave the references, sites, and stuff like that. I try to reference everything right on screen. You can get all my PowerPoint slides, all 7,000 of them for $100 and then on a thumb drive, which includes all my debates and all my seminars. It's called 855 Big Dino. Now, in closing, Nolan, you are incredibly designed by a creator who fortunately loves you and loves me and wrote a book to tell us where we came from and where we're going. You're going to die one day, and I'm going to die. We're going to stand before that creator, whether you believe in him or not. We're going to be judged. I believe God created a perfect world, and man introduced sin and death into that world, just like it says in the Bible. I'm not asking for my religion to be taught in school systems. I do believe it, but that's where it stops. I cannot prove it. I am funding my ministry at totally volunteer donations and people buying my videotapes, whereas the evolutionists are funding their religion at the point of a gun. Everybody is forced to pay or you lose your house. Property taxes go to the public school system. I'm in favor of education. I love teaching, taught for years and enjoyed it. I do have a degree in Christian education. You are correct. But I think if somebody goes through years of schooling at Harvard or Princeton or Yale and comes out believing that the universe started from nothing in a big bang and they came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago, I'm not impressed with their degree either. But I don't argue about my degree meaning anything. I have 4 doctor's degrees, 1 honorary, 3 that I've earned. If you don't like them, then call me Kent, as you have this whole time, which is fine. Call me Bubba, call me Hey You. Forget the degree. That's a rabbit trail. Don't worry about it. But so I don't ridicule other people's degree because I disagree with what they believe. Someone works really hard. What do we got a squeak in here somewhere?
Coming from his end.
Coming from your end, I think we got a squeak. Okay. Anyway, the Bible teaches very clearly that God made the world and God's going to judge it again one day. And you need to get ready for that. If you're not sure you're going to heaven, we have on our website, drdino.com, what the Bible teaches of how to be forgiven and go to heaven. God created the world. He owns it. He makes the rules, and we are all guilty of breaking those rules. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't hate people. God gives simple rules. The 10 Commandments is a good starter, Exodus chapter 20. We're guilty. If there's a God, and if that book is true, we're going to be in trouble when we face him. And there's only 2 religions in the world. Only 2, Cain and Abel. Cain brought his fruit and said, God, look what I did for you, and God would not take it. Abel brought a lamb, an innocent substitute, a sacrifice, and said, God, would you accept this in my place? 48 and a half years ago, I accepted the sacrifice that Jesus made, and his death and blood on that cross was applied to my sin debt, and I'm paid for it. I am going to heaven. It is not because I'm good, it's because I am forgiven. And he wants you to have the same thing. It's wonderful. Nolan, if I'm right and you're wrong, you're in trouble. If you're right and I'm wrong, I haven't lost a thing. I've enjoyed life, wonderful family, wonderful marriage. I enjoy living. I'm happy. You seem really angry and bitter. I don't think you're happy with life. I feel sorry for you. Let's do this again Monday and we'll finish up. I took the same time you did. I got to go. Thank you for doing this. Another debate tomorrow with Croc or something or other. Yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait either. This is going to be exciting. Thank you so much. Let's do this again tomorrow. Shut it all down here, Steve.
I'll see you Monday.
All right.
All right.
Stop.
This one?
No,
Where's the
this
mouse?
one. There's 3 of them.